Hello, everyone. I today I'm building in The Sims 4. I would have to say that The Sims have been one of my, I'd say, most long-term favorite games that I've played. I believe I started playing um, on The Sims 2 or Sims 1. I'm not exactly sure. I don't um, remember the exact game that I started on, but I know I started playing Sims quite a long time ago, and I recently last year bought Sims 4, and at first I didn't really like it. I thought it was too cartoony. It didn't look realistic. I thought it was kind of almost a downgrade from Sims 3. So I mostly played in Sims 3 until about, I think it was the end of last summer, when I was like, oh, I'll give it a second chance. And I'm glad I did, because it's turned into one of my favorite Sims games. Just because I don't know, that for some reason my creativity is really really high when I'm playing this Sims 4. I almost feel like it's a little bit more challenging in some ways than Sims 3. Sims 3 is very basic. You want to build a house, you build a house. But it almost, in a way, limits your creativity. Sims 4, it's a challenge, so you feel like, oh, I need to figure out how to make this perfect, or how I want to make it, and I really like that. So today I wanted to, build a tiny home. I really like the idea of tiny homes. I could never live in a tiny home, I say, as I'm living in a tiny home, but I'm living in a dorm, so it doesn't really count, although it is really tiny. My kitchen is right next to my office, which is right next to my bedroom, they're all in the same room. So I guess I have some experience living in a tiny home. But I wouldn't want to live in a tiny home for the rest of my, the remainder of my adult life. It's just a little bit too cramped for me. I like more spacious things. But I love the idea of tiny homes, and so I wanted to build one today. And I've been trying to, right now, I just built a square on a raised platform. I do change the rotation of this building really soon, I think. And yeah, right now I'm actually changing the rotation because I love this lot. This is my favorite lot in the entire game. I forget what the name of the world is that it's in, but it's right next to the ocean. It's kind of in the city. It's really gorgeous. It reminds me a lot of places like Seattle, or even like Newport, Rhode Island. And it's just really pretty. I love it, and I love doing this lot. It's a little big, so for this tiny home, what I ended up doing was I cut off half of the lot. I just put like a wall, a fence through it, so that way I don't have to worry about using the whole lot, just because that'd be too much space. The yard would be massive compared to the little home. And so my inspiration for this was I wanted it to look like a little seaside cottage, but more modern. I do like modern designs, but I like the blend of traditional and modern. So very outside looks a little bit more traditional, whereas the inside is going to look a little bit more modern with concrete, fixtures, and the wallpaper is, you know, like white stone, and I think it comes out really, really pretty. I'm only this is gonna be a first part because it took me a long time to build, despite the size. Mostly because I was trying to figure out the layout. The layout is very challenging in a small living area, and this isn't a. I would call this a tiny home, but it's definitely not the tiniest home that you can make in The Sims 4. Um, I did have to be very creative, so I wanted it to be small enough where I had to be creative with my space. And that's basically what I wanted to do. I think it comes out to be I think it's a 6x5 lot, and it has an upstairs that's slightly smaller. I think is it like a 4x6 lot? So, so it's not super massive or anything. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Although I did manage to get a double bed in, so if your sim is married or or is dating someone, they can sleep in the same bed. So that's nice. And then it's a full kitchen, full bath, and a little living room, and a little like a little nook for like to sit down, get your shoes on. In Japanese, it's called a genkan. I like to incorporate them into my builds just because it seems ideal. I try to have a little genkan in my room, although it's not like a built-in area, but I have this little tiny nook next to my door with my shoe rack, and it's where my coat rack is. So I try to keep all my stuff there, so that way I don't have to get mud into the house and stuff like that. So it's nice, and I try to incorporate that into most of my builds, if not all of them, just because I really like that concept of the little nook next to the door. So the back half of the house facing the ocean, I wanted it to be massive windows. I love the view in this lot, so I wanted to make sure that when you're in the house you can see as much of the ocean as possible. The front of the lot, it's nothing special, to be honest. It's just a house, It's cute, but there's not that many windows. I think there's 2 windows. No, I think it ends up being 4 windows, but the 3 of them are like in one area, and they're small, so there's not much light that's going to be coming in from the front, but the back is where the action's happening, and let me tell you, it is gorgeous to look from the inside. I'm building right now. I'm building the little bathroom. I was already working on the kitchen for a while, but the kitchen layout changes quite drastically. Just because I wanted to add in a dining area, and I didn't know how or where, just because there's not that much room. But I did end up removing some of the counters, so you have a little bit less counter space in this build, which is unfortunate, but it makes room for a nice like a bench, a very skinny almost like a counter, like a table, almost like a little bar where you can sit down and have your breakfast looking out at the ocean. I imagine that for dinner you'd probably be eating at the couch, which you can do in The Sims. You can eat while using the couch, so I thought that was okay. But I imagine the little nook for for like breakfast, and I can imagine having a nice little breakfast looking out at the ocean, some eggs and sausage, and it'd be very peaceful. So what I'm doing now is there's this style of building where I live that I see occasionally, mostly in the countryside area, where there's this like a very steep roof and then a little tiny little roof coming down at the other angle. So it's like a regular A-shaped roof, but one side is very, very short. And I think it's really cool looking. They have it a lot on sheds over here. I'm not sure what exact, origin, but it comes out really good. If you notice right now, there's like this weird glitch that happened on the game Sims 4. I love Sims 4, but it's a hot mess. There's a lot of glitches that happen. So if you're new to the game or thinking about buying it, just be aware that a lot of things glitch out. And you see there, I just kind of erased what I was doing and tried to fix the glitch. And I was able to fix the glitch. I don't know what was causing it still. And there it goes again. The glitch just keeps happening. So I just changed up the whole area so that it would stop glitching out. And I think I was able to get rid of all the glitches. There was a lot of glitches in this game, in this build that I was doing. I don't know what I was doing that was causing so much glitches. I've never seen this many glitches happen before. Maybe it was the newest update that's causing it. Hopefully they resolve that soon. So here I'm just adding in some wood paneling. I love wood paneling, sparingly, but I love wood paneling. So I was adding some of that to the, some detailing in the house. Just because I don't like to have the whole house be one color. I think like having an accent wall is really good, to just give a little pop to the house. And right now I'm adding in the little living room, and you can see this is my favorite couch ever. It is a CC custom content item, but it's a cement couch backboard with cushions and a pillowcase, and I think it's really cute and it's really modern, but it's dark. I love the dark colors. And I did a cement little dining table, and then the TV, which I do change out for a bit smaller TV, just because I think you want to, being that close to the TV, it might be a little bit too big, so I sized the TV down. And now I'm just kind of rearranging the kitchen. This is kind of more like the final form of the kitchen that I'm doing now. I wanted to keep the kitchen to kind of one side and then the living room to the other, but I do have slight overlap with the little dining area, and I think the dining area is my favorite part of the house. I think it came out super cute, and I can totally imagine myself eating breakfast there, or even dinner. And I think I'm going to be working on that soon. I'm just changing out the corner cabinets because I wanted to add something to the corner, but I couldn't tell what. And finally, I found the perfect corner cabinet, and I did get rid of the bottom one just because I wanted more counter space, and raise them up a little bit so it's not like right in your face when you're cooking or cleaning. I put in a little sink, so there is a sink in the bathroom and in the kitchen. I know some tiny homes can only fit a sink in one or the other, but I managed to put one in both. So that's really good. So you have two kitchens in this house. Two sinks in this house, and but still only one bathroom though. I wasn't able to fit an ensuite, but that's okay. It's not that far down. It's just down the stairs. And so we're coming towards the end of this part, and this will probably be a 3-part series, I think, just because I did a lot of decorating to the outside. So I hope you enjoyed this part, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to be mostly posting just, artsy stuff, maybe some games on this channel. It's going to be kind of just an overall channel for all my stuff that I do. So yeah, I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you soon. Bye. And don't forget to subscribe.